Hi guys, it's Michelle, Deception Bytes, and I'm bringing you the latest Q. Yep, I'm a poet and I know it. So let's get started here. I know you're probably wondering where I was yesterday because Q posted May 4th and today is May 5th and you're saying, where were you? Well, my computer died a horrible, nasty, vile, violent death. Well, maybe not violent, but it did not go gently into that good night, let me tell you. So I had to go out today, buy a new computer, get all my programs uploaded, and all that before I could post. And so it hasn't been the best of days for me, but that's all right. I have decided to put it behind me and move on and do this post. So let's get started. Now, May 4th, the first post, Q said trip update and trip confirmed Q. Now, this has to do with the 8chan board, and you can see that this is Q's normal post, trip update. He's warning us that he's going to update the trip code, and here is his updated trip code. And he says trip confirmed. So that's not anything for us to really be concerned about, although it's necessary to know if you're following the 8chan board. So the next thing Q says here is Patriots fight Q. And I think we all know what that means, and I don't think that it needs any decoding. So the next thing he posted was this picture, and the picture itself is called Justice, which is interesting, and we'll see why it's so interesting in a minute. So this was posted yesterday at 15:46:23, which is what, 12, 13, is that 3 o'clock? I don't know. I used to know military time like the back of my hand because I worked for the police, but I've forgotten it. So future communications, pre-stage, ELE, I would say pre-stage election maybe? Yes. Pre-stage SEC, not sure. Security, I don't know. Yes. Pre-stage DIR, yes. Pre-stage CAP, yes. On ready, Q. Now, I would be lying to you if I told you that I knew what all this is. I don't. I don't believe that it's for us anyway. I think that it's probably communication to other operatives, but perhaps we'll know at future drops what exactly he's referring to there. If any of you know or have an idea, please, again, leave comments below. I do read them. I can't always promise that I get to all of them because when it gets into hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them, then, you know, it's hard to go through all that. But especially now because there's so many trolls. But I do try to weed out the trolls when I can. So let's move on and we'll see why this is interesting. Now, let me make this a little bigger for you guys on your teeny weeny phones. All right. Now, this is Q's post from 5/4, and he's referring to, oh, actually, forgive me, this is an Anon that posted this, not Q, and this Anon is referring to a Q post from 4/29, April 29th, and in that post, Q said, personal thank you to the board operator, bakers, and Otis Anons who continually dedicate their time and energy to the Great Awakening. You are all patriots. The hard part is coming to an end. The next phase will bring justice. Q. Then this Anon not only refers to Q's post on 4/29, but on his post of 5/4, which we just read, this one, and he points to the name of the picture, which is called Justice. So the supposition there is that we are entering the stage of justice. And I do believe that that's a correct interpretation from this Anon. It clearly says 4/29, the next phase will bring justice, and then Q posts justice JPEG. So I do believe, knowing how he communicates and knowing a bit of his communication style. I do believe that that is true, that we have now entered the stage where justice will be meted out. So, let's go on to the next one. Now, Q posted this May 4th, and all of these are from May 4th, so I guess I don't need to keep telling you, it's May 4th, it's May 4th, because as of yet, May 5th, Q has not posted. So, Q refers to a tweet by Donald Trump from the 2nd of May, 2018, and President Trump said, "A rigged system. They don't want to turn over documents to Congress. What are they afraid of? Why so much redacting? Why such unequal justice? At some point, I will have no choice but to use the powers granted to the presidency and get involved." That was the 2nd of May, and today obviously is the 4th, so that was 2 days ago. And he said, why so much redacting? Why such unequal justice? So again, he's referring to justice there. And let's go on. All right, now in his next post, Q, his, her, they, refers to an earlier post by Q where, and this is from 4/27, so April 27th, and Q said, he's referring to his own post, obviously, where he said, "Focus only on the FBI for now. Jim Rybicki, Chief of Staff and Senior Counselor, fired. James Baker, General Counsel, fired. Andrew McCabe, Deputy Director, fired. James Comey, Director, fired. Bill Presap, Head of Counterintelligence and Strzok's boss, cooperating witness, power removed." So he's still in his position, but his power has been removed. Peter Strzok, Deputy Assistant Director of the Counterintelligence, he's a cooperating witness, but his power's removed. Lisa Page, attorney with the FBI's Office of the General Counsel, she's a cooperating witness, but her power's been removed. Excuse me. Conspiracy? Think about the above. Only the above. Get the picture? Q. So Q here is referring to his own post from 3 days ago. Well, no, that wasn't 3 days ago. It was 7 days ago. 7 days ago. And then he adds on, update it. So he's updating this post that he made. And it's 7 days on, and he's giving us an update. James Baker, fired. Reported today that he resigned. That's false. He was removed January, fired April 21st. So he didn't resign. He was fired. Lisa Page, fired. Reported today that she resigned. It was reported today that she resigned. That's false. She was fired. Testimony received. So her testimony was received. Tracking, yes. Added. Mike Cortan. See, Mike Cortan, he's saying adding Mike Cortan because Mike Cortan is not referenced in the one above. Mike Cortan, FBI Assistant Director for Public Affairs, fired. Cooperating under resigned title. So even though he's operating under the title, but he's resigned, or cooperating under resigned title, he's been fired. Let's go down here. Josh Campbell, Special Assistant to James Comey, fired. DOJ, Dave Loffman, Chief of Justice Department's Counterintelligence and Export Control Section, National Security, Hillary Rodham Clinton email investigation, fired. Force. So they fired him. And they fired him by force. I would assume that's what that meant, or that he's been forced out. He was fired, forced out. John Carlin, Assistant Attorney General, Head of DOJ's National Security Division, fired, force. So he was fired, forced out. I would imagine that's what that means. Sally Yates, Deputy Attorney General and Acting Attorney General, fired. Mary McCord, acting assistant attorney general, acting head of DOJ's National Security Division, forced out. I would imagine, the ones that say fired, forced out are ones that didn't cooperate, because the ones where they were cooperating or they were, acted as a witness or whatever, it said they're cooperating as a witness. So that's what I would assume anyway. I'm not saying that my interpretation's always right, because it's not, but that would seem to be reasonable. Bruce Orr, Associate Deputy Attorney General, demoted 2 times, cooperating witness, power removed. See, they didn't say that about these guys up here. Didn't say that they were cooperating or witness or that their power had been removed. They were fired, forced out, or fired by force, I don't know. Rachel Brand, Associate Attorney General, number 3, official behind Deputy Attorney General Rosenstein, fired, force. Cross against House Senate resignations, final term announcements, plus CEO departures, conspiracy, fake news, the swamp is being drained, trust the plan, and then here's that word again, justice, Q. So this is a lot of people that have resigned, and of course fake news looks at it and uses that to point out that Trump is an ineffective leader because all these people are leaving, when in effect it's the exact opposite. So very interesting stuff. And let's go on. Speaking of interesting stuff, we've got a lot more to come. And some very, very interesting stuff. So stay tuned, because I do have some intel that's been given to me, and I have not seen it anywhere else. So stay tuned. We're going to get through the Q stuff first. The Q posts. Okay, where is the next one? Is this? Sorry, here I lost my place because I put some extra information in there and I wasn't sure where the, yeah. Okay. I got to talk to myself sometimes. Sometimes I answer myself back too. Sometimes I carry on a whole conversation with myself. Okay. This is the next post. And again, Q refers to his own post. I know this is blurry, but I really couldn't get it any clearer. And he's referring to his own post that was posted. Oh gosh, it's so blurry I can hardly see it. It looks like January 25th. And it says, confirmed. Why did Hussein travel ahead of POTUS? Trump would not be in office for long, suggesting he could be out in a year. Reread Crumb's future unlocks past, Q. And that's a quote by Obama, that Trump would be out of office, he wouldn't be in office for long. So he's asking, why does Obama follow him around so much? And reread drops. Today, John Kerry and Iran. Important. Context for future news. Why is Hussein, let me see here, hang on 1 second so I can fit this in. All right, why is Hussein and John Kerry traveling worldwide and meeting with foreign heads of states, some enemies of the U.S.? Now, John Kerry has secretly met with Iranian FM Javad Zarif to try to save the, quote, Iran deal against U.S. policy in violation of the Logan Act. And that's according to the Boston Globe. Hillary Rodham Clinton and Bill Clinton, they're flying under the radar, the same, unreported. Why? So they're doing the same. Hillary Rodham Clinton and Bill Clinton, they're doing the exact same, except they're flying under the radar. And it's unreported. So why? Why? 2 former presidents, Secretary of States, out of power authority, racing around the world, pre, post, POTUS. Why? Unprecedented. Absolutely, this is unprecedented. Absolutely. You've got Bill Clinton, former president. You've got Hussein, former president. And you've got 2 Secretary of States traveling around, meeting with foreign heads of state. They're not in office. Why? And Q goes on, the world is connected. The world is watching Q. Now, I have put a clip here out of the Boston Globe. Kerry quietly seeking to salvage Iran deal he helped craft. Well, naturally he is. And just so that we're all familiar, he's not looking so good, to tell you the truth. The Logan Act, in case you're not familiar with the Logan Act, it was enacted January 30th, 1799. It's a United States federal law that criminalizes negotiation by unauthorized persons with foreign governments having a dispute with the United States. So, you or I could not go over to Iran and just start talking to the heads of state there and say, look, I know you're having a hard time with, Trump, but you see what I'm saying? Like, these people, just because they're former presidents, they don't have the power to do that. They're private citizens now. Hillary's not in power. She's a private citizen. She has no authority to go over and talk to anybody, nor Obama, none of them. They have no authority to do that. So they're in violation of the Logan Act. Now, what's going to happen to them? Something needs to happen to them. And I think if we don't see justice, I don't know what's going to happen, because I think people are getting fed up. Like, I am patient because I realize that these things take time, and it's building. It's a plan. It's a plan that's being carried out with military precision, and we're entering the stage of justice. So we want to see some justice. Now, I think we need to be patient and just keep watching and learning and listening. But I think that we need to see some justice at some point. All right. So now, speaking of Obama, I inserted something, and I'm going to have to go and look at it and then come back to go through the Q post, because I think it's really important at this point that we discuss this about Obama. And so I'm going to go here, and then we'll go back to where we were afterwards. Because if I cover this later, it'll seem like it's kind of out of place, whereas it fits nicely in this little slot we're in. Okay, now, former President Obama is waging war against the Trump administration through his generously funded agitation outfit, Organizing for Action, to defend his monumentally destructive record of failure and violent polarization. And that's from Front Page Magazine. Now, I'm not familiar with this person or organization, Three Feathers, but I think that this is pretty extraordinary what they've posted here, so wanted to show you. 2 former presidents returned to their hometown, but Obama moved to Kalorama Mansion, which is the operations center he shares with Valerie Jarrett, his former senior advisor, fellow Muslim, and likely handler, according to the Daily Mail. And here is Obama's shadow White House. And it is quite the mansion. you do realize that presidents do not make a lot of money. I know to you or I, it seems like they make a lot of money because it's a lot more than we make. But, you know, comparatively, no, they really don't make like a huge, huge sum of money. So where did Obama get all this money? Just don't know. Okay, now 3. Run by Obama Aids, OFA marshals 32,525 volunteers nationwide. OFA has raised more than $40 million in contributions and grants since evolving from Obama's campaign organization, Obama for America, in 2013. OFA has staged permanent protests across the U.S. And here we are, nationwide permanent protests. Now, this is interesting, and I'm going to see if I can make this bigger for you because you need to see it. Yes, you do. Okay. Obama shadows Trump's international visits to talk with leaders. Now, if you want to find this person on Twitter, it's 3 Feathers. So, I don't know. I haven't looked through all their posts, but this one is darn good. So he has, he, she, they, I don't know who 3 Feathers is, but he's got the Trump visits and the hosts, like where he's hosting in, you know, hosting at the White House. Whoops, what happened here? So these are the visits: Saudi Arabia, Israel, Palestine, Italy, Vatican City, Belgium, Italy. And Obama's vacation covers all these on May 19th, 2017. Then Poland, Germany, France, he visits March 17th. And Obama vacations in Poland, Germany, France, May 25th, December 2nd. Or maybe, I'm not sure if this means he didn't visit those countries or, I'm not sure actually. Maybe he just visited Italy on May 19th and visited Germany and France May 25th, December 2nd after Obama's July 5th, 6th, 13. Wait. Okay, he hosts them. I'm just figuring out how to read this here. I may be reading this all wrong. Okay, and then here, Japan, November, and he's hosting February, June 25th, April 16th, and Obama vacations in Japan, March 25th, South Korea, July 4th, China, November 30th, Vietnam, June 25th, Philippines, May 23rd. Oh, well here, this is really closely mirroring here. And here, India, Indonesia, Singapore, England, Scotland, Canada, British Virgin Islands, Honolulu, French Polynesia, New Zealand, Australia, and his vacation mirrors all of those. So this can't be denied. You can't say, oh no, I think it's just a coincidence. It's a coinky-dink. No, no way. What are the odds? Astronomical. You know, the odds would be about equal to putting a can of paint in a room, walking away, and having the paint explode into a painting of the Mona Lisa. That would be about the odds. So, isn't that interesting? Okay, Obama has what happened here? Hang on. Where did that go? Okay. What is Obama telling those leaders? Suggesting that leaders look to him instead of Trump will either be impeached or gotten rid of, since Trump will either be impeached or gotten rid of by any means necessary. RWW News, Paul Begley says Barack Obama is leading an Illuminati plot. And then it has this by Paul Begley. I mean, it's pretty obvious that, you know, I remember seeing on, oh gosh, maybe it was Ellen, when Michelle Obama was on there, and Ellen said something like, "Oh, we're going to miss you in the White House and whatever," and she said, "Oh, we'll be back." I've never forgotten that, because I thought, what on earth did she mean? We'll be back. You can't be back. You've done 8 years. So legally, you can't be back in the White House. What did she mean by that? We'll be back. And she mentioned it more than once. So not on Ellen, but on Ellen and somewhere else. And I can't remember where. But obviously, they think in their mind that they're coming back. So I have no problem believing this at all. Obama is not going away, as former presidents do, and is staging a coup against President Trump. Like, to me, that's obvious. Obama has an army of agitators numbering more than 30,000 who will fight his Republican successor at every turn of his historic presidency. And Obama will command them from a bunker less than 2 miles from the White House, which is what we saw there, that mansion. Him and Valerie Jarrett, very, very cozy. In what's shaping up to be a highly unusual post-presidency, Obama isn't just staying behind in Washington, he's working behind the scenes to set up what will effectively be a shadow government to not only protect his threatened legacy, but to sabotage the incoming administration and its popular America First agenda. Yes, we can't have that because Obama hates America. Former president, yeah, we've already read that. Now let's see if there was anything else here that I wanted you to see. That's about it. Pretty interesting, though. Pretty darn interesting. Okay, let's go back to where we were. I'm going to go down back to where we were. Hopefully I can find where we were. Da-da-da, da-da-da. Okay. Here it was right here. So we finished this post, I believe. Yes, we did. Oh, now with John Kerry, I don't know if I went all the way down here. John Kerry, this is the Boston Globe. Kerry quietly seeking to salvage Iran deal he helped craft. And we read the Logan Act. Oh, listen to that train in the background. I've got my windows open because it's a beautiful night out. And here's Kerry with his friend, Anton LaVey, author of the Satanic Bible. He looks like a lovely fellow. Wouldn't you, just like to have him for lunch and finger sandwiches? But his idea of finger sandwiches would probably be real fingers. But anyway, I don't think that this man I would even trust to feed one of my animals. But, Kerry seems quite entranced by him. So anyway, thought that was interesting. Thought you might too. Okay. So, whoops. Alrighty. Okay, we just looked at that and we're moving along. Now, I stuck this in here just for, kicks and giggles. I got this from Twitter. Battle of Gonzales connection to Trump's speech Q post. So, let me make this bigger. Make it bigger, she said, and it was. All right. In Trump's speech at the NRA, he mentioned the Battle of Gonzales. The Battle of Gonzales was the first military engagement of the Texas Revolution. It was fought near Gonzales, Texas on October 2nd, 1835, between rebellious Texan settlers and a detachment of Mexican army soldiers. In 1831, Mexican authorities, and then it cuts off. And they have put a picture here with "Come and take it." And then pointed to this by Q, that Q posted that we just took a look at. And Justice, JPEG. And here is another post by Q, April 29th. Personal thank you to the board operators, bakers, and artists anons who continually dedicate their time and energy to the Great Awakening. And of course, this is where he said, the next phase will bring justice, Q. And it points up to here. And it ties in with his speech that he did with the NRA. So, as usual, things all tie together like that. Now, okay, I don't think these are not Q posts. These are things that I stuck in here because they're Q related. And I think that's it for the Q posts, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm not. So let's go over the Q related stuff, including the intel that was given me. I was not told that I could not pass it along, so I'm going to, but I'm not going to give any names. So first, let's go look at this, truth about Mueller. Sorry, new computer, all sorts of stuff pops up. The naked truth about Robert Mueller. As long as Robert Mueller's not naked, I will listen to the truth. Robert Mueller has a long and sordid history of illicitly targeting innocent people. His many actions are a strain upon the legacy of American jurisprudence. He lacks the judgment and credibility to lead the prosecution of anyone. Hear, hear. As opposed to there. I do not make these statements lightly. Each time I prepared to question Mueller during congressional hearings, the more concerned I became about his ethics and behavior. As I went back to begin compiling all of that information in order to recount personal interactions with Mueller, the more clearly the big picture began to come into focus. At one point, I had to make the decision to stop adding to his compilation, or it would turn into a far too lengthy project. My goal was to share some first-hand experiences with Mueller, as other Republican members of Congress had requested, adding, "You seem to know so much about him." The article is prepared from my viewpoint to help better inform the reader about the special prosecutor leading the effort to railroad President Donald J. Trump through whatever manufactured charge he can allege. Judging by Mueller's history, it doesn't matter who he has to threaten, harass, prosecute, or bankrupt to get to allege something, or for that matter, anything. It certainly appears Mueller will do whatever it takes to bring down his target, ethically or unethically, based on my findings. What does former Attorney General Eric Holder say? Sounds like much the same thing I just said. Holder has stated, "I've known Bob Mueller for 20, 30 years. My guess is he's just trying to make the case as good as he possibly can." Holder does know him. He has seen Mueller at work when Holder was obstructing justice and was therefore held in contempt of Congress. He knows Mueller's FBI framed innocent people and had no remorse in doing so. Let's look at what we know. What I have accumulated here is absolutely shocking upon the realization that Mueller's disreputable, twisted history speaks to the character of the men placed in a position to attempt to legalize a coup against a lawfully elected president. Any Republican who says anything resembling Bob Mueller will do a good job as special counsel. Bob Mueller has a great reputation for being fair, or anything similar. Either A, wants President Trump indicted for something and removed from office regardless of his innocence. B, is intentionally ignorant of the myriad of outrageous problems permeating Mueller's professional history. Or C, is cultivating future Democratic votes when he or she comes before the Senate someday for a confirmation hearing. There is simply too much clear and convincing evidence to the contrary. Where other writers have set out information succinctly, I have quoted them with proper attribution. My goal is to help you understand what I have found. So this is actually quite interesting, and I am going to leave the link here because it goes through the wider, these are a little over the top, the graphics, but the Whitey Bulger affair, his background, Oh, all sorts of things. Representative Kurt Weldon attacked and crushed by Robert Mueller. So if you're interested in this, I will leave the link. An illegal raid on Congress by Mueller. Oh, it's a long. Mueller's 5-year up, hour out. And that doesn't make sense, but anyway, there's a lot of stuff here, like a lot. National security letter abuses. So if this is something that interests you and you want to read it, I'm going to leave the link. And it is The Naked Truth about Robert Mueller, which I'm fine with as long as he's not naked. So let me grab this right now so that I can stick it on the video later. Just because I can. All right. Now, this is interesting too, and I may have shown you this before, and if I have, then forgive me, but maybe you've forgotten. I mean, if you're Nancy Pelosi, you probably have. So, this, hang on, let me make it a little bit bigger. General Flynn, you know how Q said, watch the water. Well, here we've got him with very tumultuous water, looks like a big, huge wave, a tsunami, whatever, tumultuous water. And then here we've got him, you know, he's riding the wave. And then here, his most recent one, look, it's all calm, placid, serene, nice little setting sun, you know. So I think there's something to that since Q told us to watch the water. Yeah, thought that's pretty neat. And I think I have maybe brought it to you guys before, I'm not sure, but oh well, I brought it to you again. Now, this is interesting. I don't care what anybody says. This, I found this on Twitter with no explanation at all, but that's clearly Trump. That's clearly a Trump head right there. So that's President Trump right here. And he's looking at, and it's very blurry, but he is clearly looking at 8chan posts, clearly. And it said something like daily briefing on the picture, which I guess I didn't grab here. Let's see if it's up here. No, it's not. So I don't know, but I thought that was pretty interesting because that's clearly Trump. And that's clearly 8chan. I mean, yes, it's blurry, but even blurry, it's clear. So let's go on. More Q stuff. Woohoo, woohoo. All right. Now, I grabbed this from John Salisbury and his Twitter page. And he says, here is the first evidence of the NSA and CIA being under the U.S. Cyber Command. It'll be another couple of months before we hear confirmation on CIA, but this is direct confirmation that the military now runs our intelligence services. And let me make this bigger, because there's little teeny weeny lettering here. So, and this is from April 29. Director now reports to the NSA director, who now commanded the CIA, is now a department under la 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 la. So there's things here that, I mean, I can't read it all, but anyway, according to him, that they're all under, that the military now runs all of the intelligence services. But it'll be another couple of months before we hear confirmation on CIA. Don't know. And here we go. Here's the Hill Dog. Secret witness in Senate Clinton probe is ex-lobbyist for Russian firm. Imagine that. Senate Republicans say a secret informant Senate Republicans say a secret informant is key to the probe of Hillary Clinton's role in approving a deal to sell U.S. uranium to a Russian firm. Some people sell vegetables out of their garden, and then other people sell uranium, I guess. All right, now, again, this is interesting. This was posted by an anon on the 8chan board, and it has a post by Q here that he's referencing. Expand. Who interviewed Flynn? What redacted texts were released yesterday? Coincidence? And this is from April 27. Why did Flynn take the bullet? Rubber bullet. Lawmakers make public. Lawmakers learned Gmail draft comms yesterday. Lawmakers go hunting. Then he said, what is the purpose of a laser pointer? Do you remember that? Well, as so often happens with Q, it had more than one meaning, certainly. Because over here, we've got a cutout of, and a picture says Pentagon confirms Chinese fire laser on U.S. aircraft. Oh. And then this anon says Q, laser pointer? Pentagon confirms Chinese pointing laser at our planes? Yep. So what do you think of that there? All right, let's go on. Now, the next three posts I clipped out of the 8chan board, and it's by someone called Black Sheep Anon. And what they have to say is interesting. Of course, it's not at the level of Q, but we don't know that it's not someone that has information. I think it obviously is someone that has information that's posting on there, and they call themselves Black Sheep Anon. So let's just read the next three, and I'll leave it up to you what you want to think about it. If you want to agree, disagree, or just file it in the back of your mind, or in the back of wherever. U.S. government gathering data in North Korea under guise of humanitarianism or food aid or nuclear program monitoring soon. Look for Communist Party in China to be challenged because of what comes out. This is why the president canceled election. Central Asia will come into focus. Now this was posted 5/4, same day that Q posted his. Central Asia will come into focus. More information will come out of those dark puppet governments that will be used as leverage. The possibility of future world war will be overstated by the mainstream media, but we all see how close we would have come to war if Asia, North Korea, ME. Okay, I must be having a brain fade. ME. Negotiations weren't successful. Heroin will become much more expensive. This will be a consequence of border strengthening happening in Central Asia. The world will change in a much more dramatic way and faster in the positive than you could have ever imagined. So, I don't know. What do you think? I think this sounds plausible to me. U.S. government gathering data in North Korea, and it's under the guise of humanitarianism and food aid, or also under the guise of nuclear program monitoring. And we're to look for the Communist Party in China to be challenged because of something that's going to come out. And that's why the president there canceled the election. And so Central Asia is going to come into focus. More information is going to come out of those dark governments that's going to be used for leverage. And the mainstream media is going to make it seem like World War III is imminent. Heroin's going to become more expensive, and the world's going to change in a much more dramatic way and faster, in a positive way than we could have imagined. I don't know what to think about that. I don't disagree with anything that's said there. Sorry. I just found something sharp here. And I was trying to get it out. Sorry. Okay. Back to the task at hand. Let's go on. Iran, this is from Black Sheep Anon. Iran is a done deal. A weak puppet government controlled by the carrot from Saudi Arabia / CIA and the stick from the NSA in the form Nitro Zeus. Remember, the carrot is nice, but the stick always wins. Very odd posting. I don't know what Nitro Zeus is. If any of you know what Nitro Zeus is, please let me know. Remember, the carrot is nice, but the stick always wins. To understand people like Mueller or those who lead North Korea, Iran, you have to know that they are all good boys who do what daddy tells them. Who is their daddy is the big question. The guy with the biggest stick, of course. Doesn't that make it easy? No, but when it all is settled and done, go back over the story and map out where the big daddies changed and why. There's a reply right now claiming I'm a psychopath. Where to find the wolf in sheep's clothing? Start at the sheepiest sheep, the one going to the anti-wolf rallies and pointing his finger at everyone else. We will all become much better poker players very soon. I don't know what to think of this guy, Black Sheep Anon. Not sure. Where to find the wolf in sheep's clothing? Start at the sheepiest sheep. I don't know. Don't know what to think. Now, the last one I guess that was all of it by our Black Sheep Anon. Now, this is from some intelligence that was given to me. Now, it's not important where I got it, and I was not told that I'm not supposed to say anything, otherwise it would make no sense why someone would give it to me. So obviously, to me, in my mind, it was given to me because they want it disseminated. I can't imagine why else it would be. I mean, why just enrich me without why just give me understanding without me passing it along to others? That's the whole reason why I'm doing this, is to pass information along to others. So, all right, so let's get started. In late 2015, a private security company owned by Eric Schmidt of Alphabet, so this is Eric Schmidt of Alphabet, part of Google at one time, I think. Yeah, obviously. And he owned a private security company, okay? Now, they transported a Nook, which I assume is a Chinook, like one of those, the helicopters, with an egg, which the egg is a bomb, borrowed from the joint NATO airbase at Incirlik, Turkey. And there is an airbase there. I will show you on the map here. This is the airbase right here, and this is Aleppo, Syria. Okay, hang on. Now, so in late 2015, private security company, it's owned by Eric Schmidt, they transported by helicopter a bomb of some sort, borrowed from the joint NATO airbase at Incirlik. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, and that's in Turkey, okay, where I just showed you. Arrangements were made by Obama, top official CIA, Mossad, and certain high-ranking Saudis, Mossad and NATO representatives. So the arrangements were made by Obama, top official CIA, Mossad, and certain high-ranking Saudis, Mossad, and NATO representatives. All right, those were the arrangements. But his company, private security company, was the one that did it. And the egg, bomb, and accessories were transported by an ambulance from the Turkish border into northern Syria, where the egg, or the bomb, was delivered to NATO, ISIS, CIA, Saudi, Mossad officers in Aleppo to an underground bunker, the same one that was recently blown up by a U.S. tactical nuke by a U.S. pilot flying an IDF F-35. So that's interesting. So here is where the bomb came from. It was transported. It was arranged by all those people, the Mossad, CIA, Obama, blah, blah, blah. Eric Schmidt's private security company is the one that did it. They took the Chinook with the egg, and then they transported it across the border in an ambulance to an underground base in Aleppo. I think that's what it says, an underground into the northern, where it was delivered to NATO in an underground bunker. So it was delivered in an underground bunker. Interesting. Yeah, I kind of have to pause through here because, you know, it's all these not facts, but all these, I don't know what to call it. It's confusing. There's a lot of details here. But I don't know. It seems like it's very likely to me, and I don't disbelieve it at all. In fact, I am pretty convinced in and of myself that that's what happened. So, now, in reference to, and this is the second piece of intel that was given to me, because remember the pictures of we had Apple in Hong Kong, then we had the Apple headquarters in California, and we had a picture of airplanes, and then we had a picture of what looked to be the inside of a carrier of some sort of transport, and we didn't know what was all wrapped up in that. Now, this is what was given to me. The picture of Apple headquarters in Cupertino is where 80 servers / storage configured with keys for authentication to the Apple's iCloud, similar to what Google Cloud and Amazon AWS Cloud did. Deep State did this so that China will have the key to access all secure data for the US government and what most corporations store in the cloud. The aircraft left San Jose Airport to Hong Kong carrying those servers. CIA, Deep State, China now controls almost all significant cloud storage. Now, I believe this. I do. I don't doubt this intel at all because it makes perfect sense to me. Absolute perfect sense. And it does not, it doesn't go against the things that Q has stated. Now, if these things were going against anything that Q had stated, I'd think, I don't know. I don't think this person is, on the up and up. But seems to me that it goes hand in hand with what we've been hearing. So I personally believe it. I'm not asking you to believe it. I'm just passing along what was given to me. So whether or not it's right and true, I don't know. I wasn't there, but I would say that I'm convinced that it is. So I guess we'll see. And that's it for Q for today. And I'm going to finish up now, and I will let you know if there's any more Q posts. I will come back either tonight or tomorrow and bring them to you. And if there is no Q post, I may do a Q-related news tomorrow. So I guess that's it for tonight, and I ask that you would all stay safe, stay well, enjoy the rest of your evening.